All right, our next conversation now, we're looking at the business of events. Nigeria's events industry has evolved far beyond parties and celebrations. 2025 events have become a serious business, spanning corporate conferences, brand launches, exhibitions, weddings, and retreats. They're contributing significantly to the broader service economy. Looking at the data there, we see the services sector contributed about 53.02% share to the Q3 GDP that was released recently, 4.15% growth. Agriculture, 31.21% share, about 3.79% growth. Industry, 15.77% share. So we see the services sector there accounting big, for the Q3 GDP recently released by the National Bureau of Statistics. Let's gauge what's played out, with the industry so far and how, Dirty December is looking. We have a leading events planner joining us now. Her name is Bisola Borha-Arigbe. She's a founder and creative director, Trendy Elite Events. Great to have you on the show, Bisola.
Hi, great to be here. Merry Christmas in advance.
Merry Christmas in advance, Bisola. And definitely, I know this is your season to cash out, at this point. Talk to me about, event trends that you've noticed in 2025. I can imagine how many events you've had to plan this year.
Yes, this year has been extremely busy. This is also our busy season, hence why I'm not in the studio. I'd have really loved to be in the studio with you, but it's been so busy. In terms of trends, we've seen a lot of beautiful concepts, being introduced in the industry. One of the very important ones is people being very particular about number of guests attending their events and just ensuring that their invited guests are the ones that attend. So we have this whole strictly by guest list where people have to have their QR codes before entry. That has been really emphasized more than ever this year. In fact, I would say 90% of my jobs have been relied on QR codes and strictly by invitation events whereby they just want to cater to their invited guests. No more entry as you like it. And yeah, people definitely are going very intense when it comes to design of their venues. Back then, people are really relying more on like simplicity, or just more of like, okay, the decorator just brings centerpieces, drop it off, table covers. But now you have more people wanting to have a proper production in terms of design. So you have a decorator bringing as much as having like a carpenter, welder, like pretty much a proper architecture production going on, and then sometimes it even takes more than a day to put together this design. So you do have some clients that book 3 days in advance, 1 week in advance, just to make sure that their venues are ready, unlike back in the days when it was just pretty much just very simple and you could get ready for your event swiftly. Now it's a proper production, and then you have like the whole event looking like properly transformed from start to finish.
Right.
It's definitely more intense. This period, everybody wants something mind-blowing. Everybody is very particular about details. They're very particular, just making sure that the experience that the guests are having, pretty much when you come for a wedding, you know that you're coming for something pretty special, because it's not just about the toast. It's more about you're coming to see a proper experience at the event. So yeah, it's definitely there's more detail, there's more paying of attention to events, and yeah, I would say that it's definitely more interesting.
Okay, so definitely we know a lot of people spend a lot of money for these kind of events. You have to get the best of the best. You want everybody to have that special experience at your event. Talk to me about the most outrageous amount spent this year on an event, maybe a wedding.
Yeah. I like to shy away from budgets, but I want to tell you that, Nigerians, the ones that really want to spend hard, they really go over and beyond, but you have to defend it by delivering excellence. I mean, I won't say, I'll just say roughly, I mean, some people have gone and spending close to a billion
A
on having like a
billion.
production. And
Wow.
you have some people, yeah, on having like a proper production, like they go really hard because they don't want to settle for less. And then you do have people that are definitely very minimal, they still want something very classy, but they're able to still work with a more decent budget. So you've had some people work with 30, 40, 50, but I'll say that up there has been definitely up to a billion. Yes, for sure.
All right, so, definitely we have some, ladies that might be watching this and they're wondering, I'd love to get into this business, this billion-dollar, industry. What's your advice to those kind of people?
I'll tell you that you can't come here and think that you can just whitewash people or just you have to be well groomed, well knowledgeable about the event industry, because people know what they want now. People understand that they know what the whole event. If I hire an event planner, I am expecting quality. I'm expecting that my event is being delivered to the T, and I don't want to have any challenge. I'm expecting that you have integrity. I'm expecting that my event will turn out to be, what I want it to be, even beyond. So
Right.
if you're coming to this industry, don't think you're coming here to play. You need to do your background check. You need to do your homework.
Okay.
You need to have some education about what exactly you're coming into, because right now the industry is not what it used to be. Now there's just so many steps that you need to ensure that you have knowledge about, unless you mess up someone's event and then you get into big trouble, because people have invested so much money and then you're coming here, you have to come very knowledgeable. So I would advise you to definitely know about the industry before coming into the industry.
Thank you so much,
and then you will
Bisola.
definitely succeed.
Yes, sadly, we've run out of time. I wish I had you here in the studio, but there was definitely traffic, coming here. You're so busy. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Bisola Borha-Arigbe is the founder and creative director, Trendy B Elite Events. Thank you so much. All right, let's get a quick check on the global economy.